Is asbestos toxic? Hi, I'm Kyber with PatchBoyz Ottawa Asbestos Removal, and we're making this short video today to talk about whether or not asbestos is toxic. To answer that question, which is very simple, let's look at the definition of toxicity, or toxin. A toxin is something that kills cells and poisons. So in that definition, asbestos is not toxic. Asbestos is a mineral that is mined in the ground and is very hazardous. It's not toxic, but it's hazardous, just in the same way that a knife is not poisonous, but used in the wrong way or accidentally, it's very hazardous to someone's health or multiple people's health. So in essence, it is not toxic, but yes, it's dangerous. Some people choose to ignore the dangers of asbestos, and that works for a couple decades, but this does catch up with you. So where is asbestos found? Asbestos can be found in many household materials, construction materials, and even road construction. In a residential home built before 1986, you can find it in the drywall compound, you can find it in caulking, you can find it in pipe wrap, you can find it in around vents, the vents for your heating and cooling. You can find it in insulation. A particularly dangerous type of insulation is vermiculite insulation in your attic. Not all vermiculite has asbestos, but some does, and that would be the most dangerous form of asbestos. So it can be found in those places and many more, such as mortar, tile, ceiling tile, many places. And that's why testing exists, is to identify and isolate those areas so that they can be scheduled for removal if it makes sense. How do you stay safe? In order to stay safe from asbestos, because many homes do have asbestos, and just because you have it, it doesn't mean that you have to remove it. But the ways you stay safe are by avoiding certain things, right? Avoiding altering these surfaces or these materials is the all-encompassing advice. More specifically, you want to avoid cutting it, abrading it, and scraping it. Any of these actions, as well as several others, which you can imagine, allow the fibers that are lodged in the material and are all glued together for the moment, it allows them to dislodge themselves and circulate in the air. Now, what is so dangerous about asbestos fibers? The asbestos fibers, while not toxic, are hazardous just like the knife. The knife sticks in you and causes bleeding. Asbestos fibers do a similar thing. They lodge themselves in your lungs. These microscopic fibers, 1/100th% of a human hair, right? That's their thickness, meaning you can't see it. Nobody can see asbestos. There are materials that are there are certain materials that are 100% of the time containing due to their good fire retarding properties, but these fibers lodge themselves in your lung, and with enough exposure, this causes scarring in your lung tissue. And just like when you're building a muscle or repairing any tissue, there is a buildup, and that buildup is composed of fat, and we know that cancer grows in fat. And that's why it is classified as a carcinogen. It's not toxic, but it creates an environment that's favorable for any type of disease that thrives in a fatty environment. So, with enough exposure to asbestos, one could develop lung cancer, asbestosis, and mesothelioma. I won't go into defining each one here. The definitions are online. But It's important to know that not everything that you find online is accurate. If you look up, is asbestos toxic? It will say yes. Google will tell you yes. That's because governments classify it as toxic because it's an all-encompassing label that everybody understands. Stay away from it. Don't ingest it. But when we get down to the science of it, it's hazardous. It's not toxic, just like a knife. So if you're thinking of doing a remodel or some type of small project in your home and your home was built before 1986, it's worth testing. Yes, you're going out and spending money on something that, you know, you're not getting a whole lot, but what you are securing is your future. So many people have said, oh, I don't want to test, it's expensive, and it's not prohibitively expensive. If you're planning to do any type of project or reno, you can afford to do the testing, and I would argue to say you can't afford not to. If your family lives in that home, it's your duty, it's your responsibility to keep your family safe from things outside of your home and things inside your home. Always test. It's the law that you should test. And while many people skip this, or they may have had a contractor in the past who never identified this potential risk, that doesn't mean that everybody's following the rules. That means that people are looking out for their livelihoods and they want a project to continue, and they do not have the expertise to abate the asbestos if it is present, and therefore they potentially will lose the job. So past experiences don't dictate what is right and wrong when it comes to asbestos testing and the procedures for removing it. In the end, if you're looking to do one of these projects, a remodel, or you're tearing some stuff up and you've found something that you think is asbestos or could be asbestos, give us a call. We'll give you a free, no obligation estimate. We'll counsel you. Whether we work with you or not, we'll counsel you on what to do, how to proceed, what not to do. And if you're looking to get rid of this in the future, but you just don't have the budget right now, we'll help you assess the situation and plan for the future, no cost. And if there's something that we need to do to contain this in the meantime at a reasonable cost until you can do that, we can help you with that as well. Asbestos is a dangerous thing if it's brought into the air or if it's going to be brought into the air. We also help people out if a financial situation is limiting. There are certain circumstances where we are happy to essentially do what is right to help our clients get rid of this hazard, because we understand that this is your family home and you can't just put this off like any other repair, right? If this is contaminating the home, it really does need to get dealt with. I'm Kyber with PatchBoyz, and if we can help you with your asbestos problem, we'd be happy to take your call and see if our two families work well together. Thank you.